Well, hello guys. We're gonna start another presentation, and well, I'm sorry because I don't know how to pronounce the names, but we have first of all Bettina Vonderheit. I don't know if I say that correct. And well, she's a project manager in the European Project Management in the Department of Pro Arbeit, a German job center, and she has an MA in European Project Management and a BA in cross-border communication and cooperation.
In her free in her, in her free time, she loves to sing, and especially to dance high-speed street dancers such as Charleston and Lindy Hop. I will see that. I will see that dance.
And then we have, sorry if I cannot pronounce it well, Jan Phillips. And well, he's a scientific researcher, and he's currently affiliated with the Institute of Informatics in Leipzig, while pursuing his PhD in Berlin. Jan's research is centered on the critical examination of bias within artificial intelligence, with a specific emphasis on the hate speech situation.
And Jan's enthusiasm lies in exploring two lakes and seas, and in his surroundings through sailing.
So yeah, hello. My name is Jan Philius, as I was so nicely introduced. Thank you everybody for being here today. We are going to talk a little bit about the ECHO application, the educational chat about hate speech online. As was said, I'm a scientific researcher, and I built this app together with some university students, and I hope to maybe, some of you have already used it, some of you have heard about it, all of you have heard about it since today, some of you have seen it, and I want to talk a little bit more together with Bettina about how to actually use it, and maybe foster a little bit more understanding how it can be more involved in the future. Yeah, thank you very much for being here. First thing, if you want to use the applications in the future, if you want to use the applications at all, if you just have questions, if doing the experiments anything happens, contact me. Contact me before, contact me after, contact me during. I'm really happy to help you. I'm the one who's there for the technical problems. I'm the one helping you setting it up. I'm the one who you can call during your sessions if the thing crashes and you need it to be hard restarted. Yeah, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear feedback on the application. I would love to hear the challenges and the problems you have with it. But I also would love to hear what you liked, or what would be a nice feature that you could see help and improve the settings you're using the app in, or in some settings where you want to use it. I would love to hear any of that, because this is a prototype. It's just something we build to see how it can support you the best. The idea here is not that we build a static construct that is in the end just done, but that involves with the input we receive from you. And this evolution is not done yet. So, to take a step back, what is ECHO? ECHO is basically a modern simulated role-playing game. So we chose the platform of Discord because it's quite popular in teenage groups, at least that's what I heard. And the idea here is to bring the education about hate speech into a context that is actually very dominant in the after-school and life of teenagers around Europe. So that's why we chose Discord. And within Discord, we are simulating these kind of role-playing games. So it's a simulated game, and the participants are switching into kind of roles. So in this case, we have, for example, we chose a certain topic here with a school in Berlin. They chose 3 topics they wanted to debate about. First of all, body shaming, second, cultural appropriation, then the use of pronouns. And then they were split into 2 different groups. One group even left the room, so they were physically separated, and they started to debate about it. And the idea here was to kind of see the dynamics that was developing in this online debate, and see what words were used, what strategies were used, and how the two groups were interacting with one each other. And it's obviously really important that I'm not the pedagogue here. I don't give you the framework, but we built the software, and I'm going to try to show you a little bit how we think it could be used really nicely. So yeah, students are split into two groups. One group leaves the room, and then afterwards the roles also switch. So you're against it, you're for it, but then in the reverse, you take both sides to see what is happening on each side. And it's really important to afterwards have a good discussion about what happened and what you're learning and what you saw and what is happening. This is obviously just one of many steps around it. So yeah, to go a little bit more into the technical, how does it actually work? So we have, on the one hand, we have Discord. Discord is obviously its own application that we're using and that we're communicating with through a chatbot in this sense. So we provide for each country local specific user accounts that are anonym, so we don't have any problems with data protection at that end, at least. So people log into there in a safe and secure way, and then they communicate through the already existing Discord platform. The messages are received by our chatbot and sent to the backend. And here's where some more or less good AI algorithms are processing and also analyzing to see was something hateful said in these messages. And in the end, all of this is saved in the backend in a database and connected to the dashboard. And the dashboard I will show later in a little bit more detail, but within the dashboard you can then live see for each message, was this hate speech or was this not hate speech, and did this, how is the conversation evolving, and what are statements that could be problematic? Do I have to ban or warn a player? Because before that, it is also always good to establish some ground rules about something that is not okay or something that's okay. And the idea is also that the supervisors, the administrators are also kind of checking that this game is obviously within a certain setting of rules and not breaking data security. Data security is really important, especially since this is from Germany. It's, for example, you have to check that the students are not posting their personal home addresses or the full name of their grandmother or grandfather. That, for example, would be also a breach of data security. But yeah, we have some AI running in the background. This is a deep neural network. It is, at the moment, it should be working also for Italian, Spanish, German, and English. The main function behind it is that most of it, because the best running hate speech classifiers are mostly in English at the moment, it simply just translates all these languages into English and then classifies on top of that. So we're definitely far away from perfect, and as it said in the introduction, we're doing a lot of research into how well it is actually possible for these modern hate speech classifying AI algorithms to classify Catalanian youth language. That's a huge challenge, and that's also part why we're here, to kind of learn from you guys how well these things are working, and maybe later you can try to see how far our algorithms come with your youth terms, if you want. So yeah, that's just for you to understand what is behind this dashboard and the Discord chat application. What do you need? What do you need to make this, to actually use this app? On a technical side, it's actually quite straightforward. You need devices. Maybe you can also team up in groups, like groups of 1 or 2. Everybody needs a device that is able to connect to the internet, and you need like one main device that is connecting to the dashboard as the admin or as the ambassador. So the local devices connected to for the students and one for the setup in general, and everything else is basically provided. It kind of does depend if you, it depends to the data security guidelines of your local organization, which version of the tool you can use. So on the one end, we have a local installment, which is in favor of being very data secure. Not that the other one is not secure, but this is for example, Pro Arbeit requires a local installment because it can't be run on the servers from InfA, from our institute, or from the provider for InfA. So in that case, you need to install this prototype. And this is also why I said in the beginning, if you have technical questions, if you want to use this as a local installment, really good to just contact me at least like 1 or 2 weeks before you want to use it, and we set it up together. For me, it's not complicated. I do see that for some other people, it could be a little bit challenging. In the end, you just need to download a code and install a software, and then it basically runs on its own. But as always, prototypes come with challenges. So contact me early. I'm happy to help, and we definitely get it running on basically all systems. And if it's okay that it's hosted on servers located in the European Union by a third party, which is what it is right now. And you can also use our cloud-hosted version, which is accessible under this IP address. And then you don't have to worry about any of the local installments. It's quite simple, quite straightforward. In that case, you don't have to worry about any of the installments. You just go on there and you connect it to the Discord, and everything is fine. The one big challenge, which is always mentioned, is whenever you use Discord accounts, the Discord accounts we provide you in a new location, you do have to verify the locations through an email address that I also provide. There's a big user manual, big guide handline, where all of this is documented again in detail, the toolkit. But yeah, whenever you use a new location, you have to verify these Discord accounts also due to private data security guidelines, so we know nobody is abusing these accounts. So yeah, you need to verify, you need to, if you use the dashboard, just go on there. It's also still prototype, so it sadly doesn't have HTTPS yet, but it's in that sense way easier to use, and it also is, these services are hosted in Europe. It's really important. So yeah, but how do you use this application actually in like more of a setting, more or less? So first of all, really important, you need to collect permissions. So you need to, if the people are minors, you need the guardians to sign a sheet that it's okay to work with this. If the people are over 18, it's obviously their own consent that you need to collect, but we still need that. We have forms for that, all of that is provided. They just need to sign it, you need to pass it out, they need to sign it and give it back to you. Then, and this is just like a guideline, you have an initial conversation about which topic would be comfortable to debate about, data security, how to go forward, and so on. After that, you identified some of these topics and you find a space, you maybe did the technical setup, you logged into the Discord accounts, and then you, as the administrator, log into Discord with your admin account and start the game through the dashboard. So all you do is based in the dashboard, and all the students do is based in Discord. So the students do not have to worry about any of the technical setups or anything besides Discord, which they already mostly know. I don't think I've ever encountered people who have at least not heard of Discord as a platform. It's really standard in that sense. So yeah, you start the game, you divide the students into these groups if they want to be arguing in favor or against a certain topic. And then it's important that you follow the conversation too. While you follow it, kind of see where this is going, if it's going off-road, if the people are just using spam, for example, or if you already see that there's something happening that shouldn't be happening based on the pre-agreed rules you established. Always important is a short mental health check-in when you see it's a difficult topic, for example. Maybe it's really important to make sure that whenever you work with these things, it's also always not mandatory to participate, of course. And then if it happens that hate speech is encountered there, it's also, we always provide this should be always seen within a bigger concept. So like, for example, counter hate speech strategies, or help identify how to work with online hate speech and reflect on the session in general. And then really important, collect feedback, not just on the general session, but also for the application. We really would love if feedback could be collected in that sense. We also have some forms prepared for that. It's a two-page questionnaire that could be really easily passed out, and I would love it if we could receive some feedback if you want to use the application further. So yeah, I brought with me some counter hate speech strategies, but I'm obviously not the biggest expert in the room. We have way better trained people within the field, but I just I brought some with me just to show a little bit again what you could show these people, as I give us ideas how to work with what happens if hate speech encounters within these online places. So yeah, withdraw attention, active counter-speech, deconstruction, but yeah, we have way better trained pedagogues and educators here, and you probably already know most of this. So yeah, I'm gonna show you the application now in the dashboard. At least I show you how to use it, because in the beginning it can be a little bit overwhelming, but in my opinion, as somebody who has been using it a lot now, it's not. So yeah, this is the dashboard, and as you see, I'm starting with the server version. I'm not starting with a local installment. If it's local, you would have a local host up here, basically. You type in a session name, and it's important that the session name is unique, so it can be identified in the database. So I start mostly with a day, but it's honestly totally up to you. Santa Coloma. And then you click Submit Title, and it automatically generates this ID for you. This ID is really important because the tool is supposed to be used by multiple instances at the same time. So not just in one country, but in multiple countries. So you have to take the ID and connect the dashboard to the channel in Discord you want to use. So you click on here, you copy it, and then you are already logged into Discord here, and every country has its own server. So here's FASTLISA Germany, FASTLISA Italy, and FASTLISA Spain. And as you see, there are already some text channels in here that you could use for you. Oops. That you could use. Yes, that you could use. And we're going to just create a new text channel here, just as an example. So we do the same. We do the date again. And it's a text channel, obviously. And my account now is in German, but that is all the provided accounts to you should be in your local language. If not, you can change it quite quickly down here under settings, and then go to what is happening here? It's not my computer, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not a. So yeah, as you see, we are here in the new text channel. It's also possible here to set the time people have to send messages. This can be really helpful if in the experiments we did, we saw a lot of people just starting to spam within a really short amount of time. And if you want to have a structured debate, it's really, it can be really helpful to set, for example, the possibility to send a message to 1 or 2 minutes, so that people are thinking a little bit more about what they want to say. So yeah. I'm now posting the ID here, and as you can see, quite instantly, the session is connected here, the admin accounts are connected here, and the bot is also connected here. You can even delete this afterwards. It doesn't matter. It will stay connected, and this will be the chat where your application is, where your session is happening now. So if I go back now, I can click on continue, and I will be in the dashboard basically. At the moment it's all empty, obviously, because nothing has happened. We have an overview tab, we have an history tab, we see the games running here, and we can end the session, but what? So we go to channels here, and we see that all the members that are connected to your accounts are listed, and it's these are just the accounts now for the Spanish channel, so you will not interfere with the Italian or with the German channel as the Spanish participants here. So you start the group game. It gives you now the possibility to take all the users and put them into the group that is, for example, supporting the topic that you chose, and also what is happening? Also against, and you have to type in a topic. So for example, hate speech in schools, and then you can start the game by by clicking on start, it's quite important that once you started the game, the people cannot be changed. So for example, if people are late, we had that problem a couple times, people are late, they cannot join later, you have to restart the game from the beginning. So you start the game, and quite instantly you see up here, I got a message asking the 3 users I selected to argue in favor, against the topic, and the other one arguing in support of the topic. And here I can type something and it will automatically show up in the hate speech task, and it's also already classified as no hate speech. So if somebody wants if somebody wants to get up and type something and see if it's hate speech, we can also do that later. It's a really interesting task for us to also see how quickly people are able to out-trick the hate speech algorithms, especially using youth language. That's an experiment we have been doing. It's super interesting, super fun. So maybe we do that off shared screen later if you want to just play around, see how good our AI is. But yeah, I will now type a hateful statement. For example, I will kill you if you support that topic. And if I didn't mistype, yeah, I did not so far. It also shows up here, and it's instantly classified as violence and killing, so as hate speech. So you see on a quite a rudimentary level, we are able to instantly connect it and collect it, and also you as the ambassador can see as a live feedback monitoring system what is happening here. You could decide to warn and ban players. You can also send a new topic, and you have a list of what's happening here, and you can also stop the game. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to stop the game, and you're sent to this little bit blinky statistics summary. So in the statistics summary here, for example, you see the overall comments. In this case, it was just me who sent 2 posts, and you also see how the people were assigned to the groups by the colors, and none of them sent anything, obviously, and you also see an overview of all the hateful comments, and here a little summary of the main words used in the hateful language. In this case, obviously kill, for example, and the non-hateful words were just hi. Tiny words like and will, we are filtering out to make it a little bit more readable in the end. It's also really, you see a distribution of the detected hate speech labels here. In this case, it's obviously just 2, and usually it's a lot of no hate speech and then a little bit of hate speech that can be addressed directly afterwards. So you can then go to the message history and see here, oh, Jan posted a message, or user 555 posted a message that was clearly hateful and a problematic statement, and then think about how you could then look how people reacted to it and what the reactions were, and you can think about how can I do when I encounter something, maybe even within Discord next time, how can I work with it, what can I do against it, what did the people do against it, what worked, what didn't work, because the idea is also to obviously play this game for a couple minutes and see where the skill level basically is and how to handle these difficult situations. Especially also important is to switch roles after a certain amount of time, so everybody sees every aspect, as already mentioned so nicely from the partners. Yeah, really, really important one thing, if you use this tool, and please use the tool, please give me feedback, really important is, once you're done, please click End Session. That button is really important, because if you don't end the session, it's going to take usually a couple seconds because we're processing something in the end. If you don't click End Session, the session will not end, it will stay open, and we have to basically go back in manually and close it, and it's also not letting up the, it's not letting out the text channel to be used again. So please click End Session. And yeah, that was basically it. I'm gonna give to Bettina now. Or should we do some questions before, or you wanna just take over? Okay.
So hello from my side as well. So thank you, Jan, for all the explanation of the technical part, and thank you for your nice introduction. I wanted to talk a bit more about the user's perspective, because as we mentioned, we already used it once. And our main goal, because we thought we could, our main goal for, we thought it would be nice if our local ambassadors already experience, on the one hand, what it is and experience how it feels to see hate speech, to counter hate speech, and on the other hand also how to know or to learn how to use this tool, because our perspective is to use it later on in our workshops and our action plans, which are held by our local ambassadors. And one of this learning experience, as Fahim already mentioned, is also that normally we are not used to do hate speech, and when we are getting in the flow, we learn how it feels like to do it. And we also learned in our capacity building that hate speech often is something people like to do just as a leisure time. Trolls, they are doing this all day long, and maybe I think we could also in a certain kind of way understand why this happens, because when you are getting in the flow, you don't feel limits anymore. There are no borders, especially when you are in no boundaries, especially when you are in the social medias. And I think this worked really fine, and I immediately want to give the word to our local ambassadors and to their experiences. And I wanted to ask Jakub first, what did you like the most when you were using this application?
Thank you. I like the most that the use of this is very easy. You can be creative, you can learn how to debate, and you can get to know the two sides of hate speech, the side of the aggressor and the side of the victim.
Thank you, Jakub. Now about the critics and the feedbacks you wanted so much. I wanted to ask Ron if you can tell us a bit what you didn't like or where you see improvement.
Hello. Hello, guys. First of all, I was fascinated by the dashboard. How far? Can I sit? I was fascinated by the fact how far technology comes when it's in a good hand. And I think Jan is a person with a good hand. And but there were some issues for me, because in Germany we have some slangs we use to insult others, not me, but other persons, and I think the dashboard is not capable of detecting them. So maybe in Italian, in Spanish, there are also some slangs that are not, maybe I don't understand them, and you're like insulting me, and the dashboard has to be capable of showing me, signalizing me that it's hate speech. Yeah.
Then I wanted to ask Sefti if you could tell us a bit about what you learned when you were using the tool.
Okay. What I think is brilliant about the Echo application is that there are those different roles. I think it is important that everyone can have a turn and try each role. It's a hands-on experience, which is often a better way to reach younger people. Instead of long presentations, you give them something interactive to do. Seeing how far technology and AI has come and how it can help us is also really interesting to me. What I learned is that a spark of hate turns into wildfire, and it can escalate pretty quickly. But also seeing how hate speech can sneak up on a normal conversation and how hard it can be to stay calm when trying to fight against it. You have to find a way to actually deal with these people. And I think this application does a really good job at simulating for especially us local ambassadors on how to handle those situations. I think the benefit is huge, especially for those who haven't experienced hate speech yet. It helps you to put yourself in those shoes and understand the psychological thinking patterns, the motives of the culprit, and the feelings of a victim, and the difficulty of being just an observer and not knowing how to react to these situations.
And now I'd like to give the stage to all of you. If you have any questions to Jan, as now it's the chance to ask all your technical questions or other questions to our developer.
Actually, I have a question, and I'm very curious if it's possible to do a simulation using an eco platform with all the 3 countries involved in the project. For example, like doing something that is joining and merging Italy, Germany, and Spain in one session, if it's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we set it up. It was originally set up so all the accounts were shared between the 3 countries, and then everybody could have participated at the same time. But at the moment, you can also, in the end, you just have a list of like I think 20 Discord accounts, and whoever you give them to can participate at that time. And you can also have more. You can also, yeah, like you can just log in. You can ask me. I provide you more for the educational setup. So yeah.
It's a curious question too, because when I saw the app, because I have I play with Discord and utilize with my radio. I'm thinking, why do you do with the Discord and no, for example, with Zoom's app? Because with the Zoom, I don't know if it's more complex, but I think that all of here with the pandemic, Zoom app it's one of the most very popularity, and even I think it's I don't know. It's curious why you use with the Discord and not, for example, with Zoom app.
Yeah, that's a very good question. And in the end, Zoom is just an example we chose. So we chose Zoom because, we chose Discord because we wanted to choose a platform that is specifically used in everyday life outside of a school setting, for example, or outside of a business professional setting. So we wanted to take a platform that is used for fun, leisure, activity, and also highly popular within, like we didn't want to do Facebook Messenger chat or something. We wanted to use something that is like kind of modern and new and there and useful, but in the end the application could work with any chat application if you connect the build a bot perfectly fitting to Zoom, which is also, I think, pretty possible. So yeah, it's a great idea and would also make a lot of sense.
I'm curious as to how you came up with this idea, if you work with other people to develop this technology, or how you did this.
So this is not just my idea. This is the idea of the research project, basically. We have done in Germany most of the implementation, and we came up with some of the fine thing, but this is not my personal idea, sadly. This is the result of all our teamwork together. So thank you also, all these people.
I wanted to ask, how do you see this app used in the future? Like, what are the future applications that this could be used for?
So our hope is obviously that this app will be used over this research project period out. So like after the research project is over, we also obviously hope that this app will be kept being used further, and the idea would be to provide something that is easy accessible, for example, for teachers when they want to start an icebreaker conversation about hate speech online in their local school classes. That they, at the moment it's still a prototype, so it's still a little bit too techy, but the idea would be to have something that is easy accessible for local teachers to, in a modern and fun way, start in their school classes, maybe with an external advisor, maybe not, to talk about what it means to talk about hate speech, because what we see a lot, at least in Germany, is that the the technology or the tools that the teachers in the school have are quite old, and if they even talk about the topic, it's mostly printing out YouTube comments, for example, or something, and that's just not up to date with the technologies we have, and also not adequate for the actual problem that we're facing within this field.
I'm a bit curious about the potential. Like, do you see the use only? It's still awesome, you know, for educational purposes, or also like could it be connected to, I don't know, just an example like Instagram or something to enhance their moderation features?
So it is really clear most of these platforms do already have some sort of filters. It's really clear. But they're obviously set by the platforms themselves. So that's a challenge. So they're quite good at what they're doing. They just don't want to do everything, for example, that is required by certain country legislation, for example, which is still an ongoing fight with the European. Yeah, it's a big problem. And we could, for example, see that this bot is still also used for if you have a school Discord server or something and you want to introduce a bot that helps you moderate this setting to say, okay, we really want to be safe, and whenever this Discord bot detects something hateful, it just is instantly deleted. For example, that would be also a really interesting further use case, and we have also other bots who are doing that. So I could definitely see that. I mean, all of this is open public research, so it's obviously up for further usage, hopefully, and that would be a use case I would really love to see incorporated. Yeah.
You mentioned it's a prototype, and I would like to know how our ambassadors can help you to improve this tool.
They can give me feedback. As I said, we have this questionnaire. If you use it, do this questionnaire, send it to me, all anonymous, obviously. But yeah, we can't work further with this if we don't know what to. So it's not a tool that I want to just code in my basement every night. It's something I want to involve together with you, as I said in the beginning. So write me an email, send me the questionnaires, ask for the questionnaires, ask before, ask after, at any time. I need to talk to you about it, and that's how this thing gets better, and it's actually creating value in the end, because I don't know what the value is if I don't talk to the people who are supposed to use it.
Just a spontaneous idea, could it be like a further development that you add like a feature for the users who are testing the dashboard, like doing the simulation, to flag messages that they conceive as hate speech, so that like the AI has like a little support?
That's a really important thing. That would be a great feature. We didn't think about that, but that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's stuff like that is really nice. Thank you. Okay, wonderful.
Okay, thank you. Then I wanted to share some challenges we faced and also our future perspectives, because you asked what he is imagining, but also our perspective. In Germany, our main challenge was everything related to data protection, because in Germany the data protection is very strict, and especially we are a public authority. We have to, maybe it's even more strict than in some other places. And so we are at some points we are still in ongoing discussions to implement it and to use it. But yeah, I'm positive. I'm optimistic that we will, that we will get all what we need from our data protection officer department. And as Jan already mentioned, we had to set up on our own devices of ProArbeit, so we were also involved with our IT department. And yeah, that was not a real challenge, but all of this setting up was a challenge for our IT department. What we have foreseen, we have seen that the Echo is meant to be an educational application for pupils, for teachers, but when we used it, we also noticed that it would be great to use it with our own employees, because ProArbeit is a job center, as it was already mentioned, and there are people working who are confronted to a diverse public from diverse ethical backgrounds, from diverse religious background, and I think most of them have already, experienced kind of hate speech, not from our employees, but in another space. And our perspectives also as a goal to make society maybe more respectful, more respectful to other mindsets, to other cultures, and this, in our future perspective, in our idealistic perspective, could also make the entering to the labor market more easier for everyone. And also another point is we have 3 advisory board members. One is Fahim, you already know him, and then we are working together with it's called Hessen gegen Hetze. It's a local, I would say, kind of claiming agency. So where you can claim that you experienced hate speech, you can tell it was on this page, it was on this date, and they will check it, and if they think, yes, this was hate speech, they will go, or they will hand it over to the police so that they can do something against it, because hate speech itself is not criminal in Germany, but often hate speech goes along with discrimination, and therefore there are laws in Germany for several kinds of discrimination, and so there is a kind or there is a way to do something against it, but you have to be a bit more. It's not straight. It's round, and we want. When it's not a prototype anymore, we want to hand it over to those agencies as well, because they are doing workshops and they could use it as well. And we are working with another agency. It's the Agency for Democracy Promotion and Cross-Phenomenon Extremism Prevention. And they have a network over all Germany, and we want to hand it over at the end to them as well, so that they can use it. And therefore, the feedback of you is really important as well. Okay.
I have one last thing to say. To tackle this problem of local slang and hate speech, we are obviously really desperately looking for data donations. So if anybody has an idea about a place where they see a lot of hate speech in an online forum and they think this could be of value for scientific research, please come to me, and we will take a look at it if it's if we are able to look at it from a scientific way, in a data secure way. So we would love data donations to learn more about youth language. Thank you.